Happy Friday. How's it going, everyone? Drawing names again, drawing them spooky style. I know it's still September, and we did last one because it was Friday the 13th, but listen, I'm doing spooky names again. It's going to be fun. Feels sort of like spooky-ish season. At least it did last week. It got a little muggy again here where I am. I hope you all are well. Happy you are all here joining me. I'm going to start drawing soon. Just got a couple quick announcements. Just going to, share a few things that are going on. Hey, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, Stinktober is coming up. I did a list of drawing prompts. They're here. There's a graphic that has them all. And the first day of October is on Tuesday, which is crazy. Now, I normally have new videos every Tuesday, but I didn't get to record something this week because I've been having some construction done on my house, and it's been just banging all day long, every day. And that's not ideal for recording videos. So instead of a new video, I'm going to do a bonus live stream where it'll be like the kickoff for Stinktober. And I'm going to be doing the first drawing prompt, which is Spooky Bob Scaredy Pants, which is like a SpongeBob pun. So it'll be like a spooky SpongeBob. Sounds fun, right? So that'll be 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Come hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. For Stinktober last year, which was my first year of Stinktober, I did a contest with it where I just picked some of my favorite submissions over the month and then sent them some stuff. I'm going to do that again this year. I don't know. I probably will pick 3. We'll see how many. Maybe I'll choose to do more. But all you have to do to enter is just do one of the drawings for one of the days and send it to me. You could tag me on Instagram. There's a hashtag, MyStinkyTober24. The reason it's MyStinkyTober and not Stinktober is because Stinktober is apparently not an original idea. Someone had already used that. So we're using MyStinkyTober. 24 because it's 2024. I put that in the description. I didn't yet, but I will. But if you check out the Stinktober post, it'll be in there. And then on the live stream on Tuesday, I'll do a whole thing about it, and I'll be more organized. I got to take this earbud out of my ear because I don't know if you're someone like me who has ADHD and you have your own voice in your ear, slightly delayed, boy howdy is it distracting. Can't do it. So we're not doing that anymore. So that's Stinktober. That's the live stream. If you missed it, my vector texture pack for Fresco is available and in the shop. There's a link below. Use the promo code LIVE. You'll get 20% off. People seem to be liking it, having fun with it. Did a whole video on how to use it. If you didn't see last week's video, the video is the whole process of me making these textures out of like paint and marker and ink on like metal and styrofoam and all kinds of weird stuff. And, and just scanning these in and converting them into shapes for a library that you can use in Fresco. So check out the video if you haven't seen it. Check out the pack in my shop. And then one last thing before I start drawing. I know I'm doing a lot of promo here, but I do make sure that the ads are turned off for my live stream so that they're not interrupting the stream. So, think of this as one ad at the beginning. The pre-order is up for my new Good Talk shirts. I'm very excited about these. I'm actually getting these screen printed professionally by my good friends at Mammoth Print Shop in Alabama. I've been doing stuff with them on and off for 20 years now, which is wild. But I've just been sick of print on demand stuff. It's gotten a lot better with shirts. I do have some of the shirts in my shop are print on demand, but I wanted to do some like special limited edition, just high quality shirts that I have more control over. So that's what these are. This is the first. I'm hoping to do more, but we'll see. Maybe I get them and none of you order them and then I don't do it anymore. So this is a little test run, but I have them up as a pre-order. I'm supposed to be getting them, I believe, around October 11th, so they would ship right away. So probably, mid-October, you'd be getting one. So if you want to pre-order it, again, quantities are limited. There's a link below, and you can use the promo code LIVE and 20% off. So that's the shirt. Good talk. All right. Let me just check in with the chat real quick. See what's going on. So many people here. I love seeing the channel members have green names, and then we've got our moderators, Skippy McHaggis and Diana Lisa, and I think there's some other ones here. So nice to see you all. Speaking of channel members, all of my super sports and above get their name drawn and included in all the videos that I make while they're active members, and you'll see them rotating throughout the stream while I'm drawing stuff. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions as I'm going today. I will try to answer as many as I can. I have a little help behind the scenes gathering questions for me and putting them over to the side. Shout out to Matt for doing that for me so that I can keep track of it and not lose my mind constantly seeing the chat going up and down while I'm like drawing and like my peripheral, and I'm just like, oh God, what's happening? What's happening? What am I missing? He's helping me not miss things. So yeah. It's Matt Bulwark in the chat. So if you have a question that you want me to answer, add him and he's going to put it in my document that I have on my screen. So I will see it there in my list of questions because the chat's moving. It's moving quickly. All right. Let me switch over to my iPad. Lambo Drive Zambo, thank you so much for the super chat. You're going to be leading off. Oh, I forgot to mention the rules for the live drawing things, because there needs to be some sort of structure. I try to keep this as fair as possible. What I do is I start at the beginning of the chat from when I go live, not before live, but when I'm live. And then I just do first come, first serve to keep things fair. There is the ability to jump the by doing a super chat of $20 and above. Just because I try to do as many as I can. I try to do my best. Okay. Good talk. I'm going to switch over to my iPad. And you'll see here, we've got 3 names up on the screen. These names are the most recent super sporters. Shout out to Courtney Labine. I see her in the chat. Mathis Maid and Matt Cook. You are the newest super sporters, and I'm thankful for you. So a little bonus extra shout out here, but their names will be rotating as well. I'm gonna put this in just for a second so I can tell, because I got the background tunes going on. Okay. We're gonna draw some names spooky style. I'm like delaying a little bit because the first one's always a little bit tricky. The first name is Mia Cat Lambert from Lambo Drive Zambo's super chat. And we're just gonna get into it. So got a new layer going here, and I'm gonna take my earbud out a little bit more because, boy howdy. I need to set it up so that I can just toggle off my voice so I can hear the background music a little bit, so I'm not in silence, so I can enjoy it with you all. But Okay, so first things first, as always, I just write it down and nice and simple so that I have a reference so I can see what I'm doing. M-I-A, Kate with a C, Lambert. Trying to get my mic not on the screen so you're not hearing the tapping. Ooh, Moonlighter TV, you pre-ordered one of the shirts. Thank you so much. If other people are interested, don't forget the promo code LIVE to get 20% off. The funny thing is, when I was, because I'm doing these as such like a limited run for the shirts, I thought I was gonna have to price them pretty high because when you don't do a ton of shirts, the individual price per shirt is high. So in order to not like lose money, you have to go pretty high. But it was not as bad as I thought. Like obviously, so the shirts are $30, which you know is a little bit, but the print-on-demand shirts are close to that as well because there's so many charges that you have to pay from them like making them and sending them out. So they're on par and cheaper than some of the on-demand ones, but they're like actual screen printed shirts. So there's that. So I'm just sort of freestyling right now, trying to get like a spooky-ish vibe. Doing some like wiggly letters. I don't know. Usually I start with more of a structure, especially when there's like a longer name like this, but I don't know. I'm just winging it right now. Making a new layer because I want to have a little bit more control. I'm thinking like using some sort of shape like this, maybe. I don't know. Your friendly neighborhood nerd asked if I am excited about Halloween. I have mixed feelings. Like I like Halloween as a holiday, but I'm like a little bit stressed about like the actual day of like the trick-or-treating because like my dog Dottie thinks has a very important job as a guard dog, even though she doesn't need to be a guard dog. So she's gonna lose her ever-loving mind, and I feel bad for her because she's gonna want to murder all these little monsters coming to the door. And like kids are awkward and annoying. They're just like come to the door and like don't say anything. It's like, hey, say trick or treat or I'm not giving you anything. All right, sick of this. I might be extra crazy today. So I know this looks like chaos right now, but I'm trying to figure it out. But I think you might not be able to see it yet, but I think there's something happening. So I'm trying to like use the space below now to like pull it all together. So it sort of like loops around maybe like this. And then once I get close, I will sort of... Diana Lisa Rabbit, thank you so much for pre-ordering one of the shirts. You are always such a great supporter of me in the channel. All right, so we'll go like this. Oh, you know what? We can mimic the... Why does my earbud keep connecting and disconnecting? We can mimic that curve on the tail of the L over here on the R, and then maybe do something like this with the T. Okay, so now that we've got something that's like a little bit of a mess, let's just check our spelling. M-I-A, Kate Lambert. Okay, so let's merge this all together and let's rotate it so it's not chaos like this. And let's bring down the opacity a little bit and make some guides to like pull this shape together so it makes more sense. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? Let's undo that. Nogs, you said professional screen printer here that works for a very established company. We'll def do short runs for you at a good price. Yeah, appreciate that. That's nice to hear. I do have a good relationship with Mammoth, but you know, sometimes they're busy, so certainly open to other possibilities. So I'm going to use the symmetry for this structure because this already looks like a symmetrical design, so I'm going to use it to make my guide. And then like this. So I'm just making the shape based on what's already there, but just being a little bit more intentional. I feel like that's a cool, spooky shape. I think we can ignore that part. Okay, so I turn off symmetry and bring down the opacity on that. Skippy McHaggis said, are you in a big trick-or-treat neighborhood? Also, when did parents start putting wine tables out for each other? Not huge, but enough that it's annoying. I haven't seen the wine table thing. That's ridiculous, but funny. I'm not sure when, but I don't know. Okay, so I got the structure here, and now I'm just going to take my sketch and like make it fit that shape a little bit better. And I'm trying to not be too tight yet because I'm still figuring it out. This isn't the final line work, but it's like, I'm just making it a little bit tighter so that I can, you know, get my sketch pretty tight. Get the C in here. So the T is going over the top of the A and the E, so I'll do that first. Then come in here like this. And I'm just sort of making the shapes play off of the negative space from the other letters. Okay. So when I'm working to a shape like this, I'll do like the outer edges first because those are important for getting the overall structure to make sense. And let's see. I'll sort of skip around a little bit to figure out where. Oh, I forgot I wanted the R to go down there, so we'll do something with a T. We don't want it to look like a J. Let's erase some of this. So what I'll do is maybe just have a more flat bottom for the T there. Your friendly neighborhood nerd said, you dig the crazy vibe this morning. Thanks. Yeah, sometimes the ADHD is extra kicking, and today it's one of those days. It's just one of those days. Did not know I was gonna sing a Limp Bizkit song. Didn't like that. Okay, so I am in a good place to do a tighter version of this. So we can get rid of all this other stuff that we don't need anymore. I'll make it a little bit bigger. And I think because I want some like really sharp angles on these things, I'm gonna do this with the vector brushes so I can use the vector trimming tool. I'm gonna use my gritty vector presets, which are available in my shop. Oops. Use a promo code LIVE to get 20% off. So I'm gonna use the VV Sharpie, which is just got a nice little bit of grit, similar to the classic inker in my Retro Supply Co set. Also, link below. let me try my overhead shot for this. I moved my iPad a little bit. Okay. So I am going to come in here and draw this. As you can see, this brush has got a little bit of texture to it, and it's got a little bit of thick and thin, but like not an excessive amount. Also, because I'm using the overhead shot, you may be looking and thinking that there's some lag. If you're not familiar with Fresco, that's just when you have the smoothing maxed out to like 100%, which I do. When I'm trying to get smooth, flowy lines, it helps me out, especially when it's in the morning and I've had too much coffee. My hands are a little shaky, so I don't mind that little delay, especially at this point when I'm doing the line work, because like I'm not figuring anything out. Like I already did the sketches. I keep the smoothing off for the sketch process so that I can work quickly and intuitively. But when I'm just doing the line work, I can go a little bit slower and not worry about that lag. It's not affecting the way I draw. So with the vector trimming, I just double tap the modifier and I can just come in and get rid of this extra stuff. And then we get nice sharp points at the end, like that. Look how sharp that is. It's like a gritty dagger. Jen, you asked if I have given up the drawing glove. Not necessarily, but I don't find that I need it nearly as much as I used to with the nano texture iPad. It's just a nice smooth, not sticky surface like the other stuff. It's like a good in between. Like I never really drew on the bare glass, but the screen protectors were a little like too rough, I thought, sometimes. So I would like a glove, but I don't know. I don't find it to be as necessary. I also lose them all the time, and out of laziness and not going to find it, I just stopped using it, and then I was like, whatever, I don't need it. But sometimes it's nice. If I find one, I'll use it. Like sometimes I will put on a pair of pants that I haven't worn in a while and reach in the pocket, and I'm like, oh, there's my drawing glove. And then I'll put it on and draw with it, and I'll be like, oh, this is nice. But I don't find that like my hand snags on the screen like it used to. And I feel like the iPad palm rejection is really good. At least it is in Fresco. I can't remember. In Procreate too. I don't have any issues with that often. Moonlighter TV, you said you're following my Inktober prompts this year and you're going to try to mix in 2 series. You've been drawing Cartoon Network characters as horror movie villains and Disney princesses as Batman villains. That sounds rad. Definitely would like to check that out. That sounds like a lot of fun. I love drawing characters in different styles. That's why I have some of that going on in the Inktober. I think there's like a weird Mickey Mouse one, and there's like a gross Garfield, and then the SpongeBob Scaredy Pants one. That stuff is really fun for me for some reason. If you've been to my live streams before, you will know that the first one is like my warm-up and it takes me longer, and then I get into the zone and we go faster. There's also a little bit of a longer name too. So it's going slow. I'm sorry. We're gonna pick up the speed soon. All right. There's also some areas of this that I was a little bit unsure of, so I'm trying to figure that out. Also, sometimes I'll just like when I'm doing something with a shape, I'll draw like the full thing, and then because I'm doing it in vector, I can trim that off very easily. You'll see what I mean in a second when I do it. So I like to make the letters flow together, so I'll like continue lines so that I can use that same line to really make it flow with the other letters. Mr. Chang, you said, did you create your own custom vector brushes? So in Fresco, you can't import like actual vector brushes, but what you can do is make presets. And you can do some stuff with the presets, which is what I did for these. So I made 2 sets of vector brush presets for Fresco that are available in my shop. But because Fresco uses vector in a slightly different way than like Illustrator, where in Illustrator, the vector is based on like a stroke and a fill. But in Fresco, it's just shape based. So they don't work the same. So that's why you can't import regular vector brushes from like Illustrator into Fresco. But you can tweak the controls. So I have a whole video on this if you want to check it out. Just search vector presets on my channel. But basically, in the vector brushes, you've got all these controls here and like some like shape dynamics and jitter. And I figured out a way to like tweak it enough that I'm able to get like a gritty vibe that works well. But that's all that you can really do. You can't import like shapes to like make it from a stamp or an actual texture. So the short answer is no. I didn't make my own brushes, but I did make vector sets. I have vector presets, gritty vector and crispy vector. The gritty ones are gritty, have a little bit of texture to them, and the crispy ones are just like when I want to do tighter stuff that doesn't have like, you know, any of this line jitter or like emulating traditional media. Sometimes I just want crispy tight lines, and that's what I use the crispy set for. All right, we are so close on this one, and then we can move on. Vidar, you said, what vector brush would you say is closest to the one? Oh, so this one, this is the VV Sharpie in my gritty vector set, and if you see them side by side, so like, the whole reason I dug into this was that I was trying to emulate my classic inker from the Retro Supply Co set when I needed to do things in vector. So let me get a new layer here. So when you see them side by side, they're pretty close. There's a little bit more texture in the classic inker, but they have like the same pressure sensitivity, and when you look at them like at a distance, they're very close. I'm satisfied with how close they are. They're as close as you can get. And also, you know, with vector, you are texture is obviously limited because it's all points and paths and curves. But the pressure sensitivity is spot on for the two. They're very, very close. No, because you said, do bands ever contact you for designs? Yes. I used to do stuff for the music industry a lot more a long time ago in my... I used to work at a design studio that did a lot of music industry stuff. I haven't done a ton for bands lately. There's just like not that much money in the music industry, and I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation over there. But that's was kind of what got me into designs and stuff like that. Okay, so that's Mia Kate Lambert. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple little things we just gotta fix that I just noticed. So I'm just using this brush as an eraser to fix a couple little spots here. Sharpen some of these points. Okay, well, hope you like it, Lambo family. Hey, I just noticed the background color I picked matches my shirt. That was unintentional. Mikhail, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. You said, what would be your dream client to work with? You know, this would have been so much easier to answer a long time ago, but I've gotten to work with some dream clients. Like, I'm gonna leave this one up on the screen while I do the next one. Like, I've gotten to work with Cartoon Network, and I would have considered them a dream client, and like Nickelodeon. I don't know, a dream client. That's tricky. I don't know, maybe like a band that I really like, but I don't know who that would be. Let me think about it. Maybe I'll have an answer in a little while. Next on the list is Nogs. Wouldn't you know? Let me write that down. N-O-E-G-S. So we got a short one. Okay. What are we gonna do for this? So this is another one where it's like, let me switch back to my pencil, where I don't know if I would go necessarily to a like shape or structure because it's a short name. I might just sort of play around to see how these letters work together. Maybe we could do something like more, maybe turn down the smoothing here, more like bold or something. Because we got to keep it spooky because it's today's spooky vibes. Maybe it's like kind of bold, like cracked, shaky letters. Sketching too big. Gotta sketch smaller. Okay, let's try a couple quick thumbnail things and see. In the meantime, Hedar said, do you use Adobe Illustrator? Not that often. I'm more of like a draw, like as close to drawing on paper as you can, and you know, Illustrator is not, it's more clicky draw. But I do use it like if I'm working in vector and I need to like send files for like a project. Sometimes I will take my Fresco files and like clean them up a little bit in Illustrator, but I don't do a lot with it. Maybe do some sort of like script combination. Oh, it's getting a little too weird. It's funny, sometimes the shorter ones are trickier than the longer ones. This is interesting how this, like the idea of like the G flowing into the S. Maybe we could do something with that. We gotta keep it spooky. Getting a little messy here. Let's look at this. See if we can do something with it. So this, oh my gosh, there's a lot of questions. Okay, let me see. I can like power through questions in a minute when I am have this in a position that I'm happy with, because sometimes I can't. I'm using all my brain power right now. I'm maxed out. Okay. Trying to infuse the spookiness into this, and I just don't know if it's gonna happen with this. And I'd also know that it looks like chaos at the moment. Looks a little too fancy. We might be forcing it at the moment. Gora, you said it's possible with Capture to create brushes. You can create brushes, but not vector brushes. You can import any Photoshop brushes you want into Fresco. It's just the vector issue. Vector is different. You can do vector shapes, which is how I did my vector shapes library, but not with the vector brushes. Okay. Oh, you know what? There's like something. I think we can make this work with, there's like a horror movie, like an old horror movie that had some like cool script. I think I did something that was similar last time. So I'm making like a baseline to have it like flow into it. And I think that might help have this look a little bit cooler. So I can have this follow those lines and then just make it sort of like, jittery letters. Maybe we can add some drip, a little bit of drip onto it once we get the shape overall. Oh yeah, I think this is gonna work now. I just needed a moment to pull it together. Okay, we're there. So let's clean up all this mess. We got too much going on here. It got a little chaotic. But we got there. So I'm gonna merge this together. Gonna make it bigger. Gonna rotate it slightly more like that. And I'm gonna do this one with the classic inker. Julie, you said you love watching your full start to finish process. Your videos have been life-changing. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And that is super nice to hear. Okay, so when I'm doing drippy letters, I just wanna make sure that I make the drips all going down, because sometimes when you're rotating the canvas around, you get drips going sideways. It doesn't look right. I'm thinking I actually might turn on a simple grid. Let's see. And just, you know, can you be bigger? Is that too big? Oh, there we go. I don't need a lot of it. I just want a little bit of a reference so that now when I'm zoomed in and rotated, I can still see those lines, so I can make sure that my drips flow down and not sideways. And then I'm gonna have some drips like go into the other letters. Go like this. Beep. And then just make it all sort of like gooey together. Let's see. Skippy, you asked would I'd rather work for myself in terms of like not working with other clients and just making my own stuff. You know, that's sort of like a thing that has been more prominent lately, especially with the channel and it growing and starting to be more of like a focus. And like the fact that I'm able to like make some stuff and put it in my shop and you all, you know, order some of it sometimes, you know, that makes it seem more reasonable. Like I've been working with clients as like a freelance illustrator for over 15 years now, and it's been super rad and I love doing it. But, you know, I would like to sort of pull away from that and just make more stuff that I want to make. And I know that like I've been super lucky in the work that I get, and like it feels, you know, the work that I've done is like I never have to do like really boring stuff. Like people come to me for my specific thing, and that's awesome. But you know, I guess I'm a little bit spoiled because that's what I've been doing for so long that, you know, I kind of am ready to be doing more of my own thing, which I've always done anyway, but just like having that be more of the focal point. Vidar, you said, have you ever heard about the Swedish comic Rocky by Martin Kellerman? I haven't, but I would love to check it out, and I hope that I remember. If you remember, shoot me an email or a DM or a comment about it when the post is up so that I can remember to check it out, because sometimes at the end of these live streams, my brain is a little bit fried. Okay. So I'm just sort of following the script line, but like just wiggling a little bit and just randomly putting in drippage when ever feels right. And then like these ones where they sort of come in, maybe I'll do something like that. Beep. I love to do drippy letters. They're very satisfying and fun. Drippy script is also really fun. Especially. David Chomsky, he said, can I recommend some reference books? Yes. I think I mentioned some in a video. Also, I believe there's a link in the description that says stuff I recommend and use, and it's like my Amazon page, and I believe that there is a book section in there. But I think one really good one for lettering type stuff is I think it's called like Hand Lettering and Type, but it's by this group Post Typography, and like I think Ellen Lupton writes the foreword for it. That one's definitely linked in there as well. Speaking of books, I just got an amazing book from the wonderful channel member Bill Dawson. Hold on. This new book from Michael Durrett, Growing Up in Alphabet City. He's an amazing letterer and type designer. Let me just pop this real quick and just so much rad stuff in here. Let me find, like, look at all this process stuff in here. Super rad work, big inspiration, really cool stuff. He's also done a lot of recent stuff. Like, he did a lot of stuff a while ago, but like he did more recent stuff that I didn't know was him. Like this stuff, but like look at all these like sketches and stuff like that. It's super rad. Definitely recommend this book. Yeah, he did a lot of some of the newer Disney stuff, the good stuff, but he's got like his inspiration stuff growing up. Definitely check this book out. Highly recommend it. McKeel, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. That sounds terrible. But if it's correct, it's not terrible. It just, I feel wrong. Anyway, he said, do you cringe at old drawings or designs from years ago? Absolutely. Not even that long ago. But so there's I gotta take my earbud out, sorry. I started a daily drawing project in the end of 2007, and when I reached 1,000 days, I put out a book, and I was really proud and excited of that book called 1,000 Days of Drawing. And those are the first 1,000 drawings, and I included all of them in that book. And like, I hate everything in there. Like, oh my God, this is so bad. What was I thinking? Why did I even share this stuff? Why would I put it in a book? Just terrible. And, you know, I self-published that book, so I had like 500 copies, and they lasted a long time because, you know, back then when I first put them out, like I didn't have a very big following, and that was a lot of books to sell. And when they finally sold out, I was sort of relieved because I was like, man. But then I decided to put them up and make them available as an ebook in my shop. So now whenever people order it and I see it, I'm like, oh God, don't look at it. So yes, I totally get that. Okay, we did this one. I hope you like it. I think it's kind of fun. You can't see it. That's what I get when I switch screens. Dummy. Anyway, there it is. I hope you like it. It's kind of fun. It was a struggle at first. I'm happy with how it turned out. So, let's see. Next up, we have Hater TMZE. Okay, let's do it. So I think what we'll do is, it seems like these are like initials at the bottom, so maybe we'll sort of build off of that as like that can be maybe big and bold, and then like we can do something with Hater above that. Do some like bold, shaky block letters that like can be 3D-ish towards the bottom. Sort of looks like the Danzig logo. So maybe like something like this. And then I'm gonna try to make that somewhat symmetrical. There's a time to switch to wiggly microphone. Thank you for the super chat, Anthony. Okay, so let's move this over a little bit, and then let's see what we can do for Hater. So I'm thinking maybe some like sharp like verticals or something. I think it just needs to be more angular or something to make it a little bit more dynamic. So let's see, let's make that like this, and then maybe could draw some like angular shape like that, and then use that to see if that makes it more interesting. So like that does work well with the A. Let's see like how could be okay with the R. And then we're just running out of space a little bit here with the E. Let's try something. Let's try one other option, then come back. I just feel like it's too, what did I delete? Okay, too disjointed. I wonder if it was just like all, just like bold, blocky letters, like a 3D explosion type situation. That could be fun. Okay, so I think maybe this, but we just make it a little bit more crazy. Delete. Courtney Levine, thank you for pre-ordering the shirt. I appreciate that so much. Okay, so I'm thinking we just sort of play up this I don't know, like the smashiness of it, so it like looks like it's like pieces of shrapnel or something. So I'm like following the underlying sketch a little bit, but just making it more, I don't know, like pieces of shards of whatever. Shards of glass or something. We're keeping it spooky. This is spooky style. Okay, I think this is gonna work well. Okay. Apostasy. You said you're just learning Fresco, a traditional artist here, but age when you start this, and kicking myself for waiting for your gritty vector path. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I worked with just like paper and pencils and markers for so long, and it took me a while to, this was a long time ago, but it took me a while to fully transition into like fully digital, but man, it really saves so much time. It's just more convenient, especially when you're doing like a lot of client work like I am, and like revisions. Just like saves so much of the like when I had edits, I'd have to like print things out, like erase stuff, print it out, and then scan it in, and then like color it again. It's just a bit of a hassle. Okay, let's make this bigger, and let's do the tightened up version. I'm gonna use the classic inker from my Retro Splico set. Link below. Anthony, I shouted you out. Thank you. Apostasy, thank you for the super chats. All right, I'm gonna bring the smoothing down for this and just sort of follow the line pretty closely, but just make it slightly more shrapnel-y. Get rid of like the weird smooth things. Just make it look like it sort of pieces together. Maybe we'll put some crack marks on it afterwards. And just sort of reference a little bit the shape next to it so it feels like it was like broken out of it, but not too close. So it looks too like it's trying too much. Because, you know, if there's an explosion, it's not going to be perfectly accurate. And there was an explosion here, in case you were wondering. Len Hernandez, you said, thanks for all your videos, just getting into Fresco, and your vids have been eye-opening. Oh, wow. I appreciate that so much. I'm glad that they have resonated and been useful to you. Vidar, you said, sorry for the noob question. There is no noob questions. I say that before I've read your question. You said the vector brush is supposed to have a delay. Hey, I was actually just talking about that a minute ago. So the delay is not just with vector brushes. If there looks like there's a delay, what that delay is when you have the smoothing cranked all the way up. So the way smoothing works in Fresco is it smooths out your line like you draw, and it's like smoothing it out as you go. So it looks a little bit different. Like if you've used Procreate before, and if you have something that has a high streamline, it does it in a different way where it sort of looks like you're like pulling a string over points. So it's like a different feeling. It's just sort of the way they handle smoothing. But if you bring the smoothing all the way down, that goes away. So that's what appears to be a lag. It's just the smoothing up to like 100%. And it's, again, not a lag, it's just Fresco correcting your line. It's like you draw the line and it's like, okay, let me smooth that out for you, because you have the smoothing set to 100%. Which, you know, I think they probably are defaulting to that, because when I use them, I have the smoothing turned up all the way, because I don't sketch ever in vector brushes, because, you know, it's too far from like a pencil, and I need that pencil feel. Like vector is, again, it's points and paths and curves and math, so it's not as natural. I need something that is a little bit grittier, like a pencil. So I'll sketch in pixel brushes, and also like it's less intensive too. Like we have tons of sketching in like vector that's like a lot of points, and it could be a little taxing on your machine if you have like an older machine. So you just sketch with a pixel brush, and that's like one of the things I love about Fresco is like you have both in the same app. So I can sketch in pixel brushes, and then when I'm ready to, if I need to work in vector, ready to do my tightened up line work, I just start a vector layer and get in there and trace over it. Trace over my pixel-based sketch. So as you can see, when I'm doing like this sort of 3D thing, I'm just sort of winging it. Like it's not that accurate. I'm just sort of like eyeballing it and getting it close, and that's good enough for this kind of thing. I'm not like taking measurements or like, you know, dragging the layer and scaling it. I'm just sort of like eyeballing where I want it to go, because sometimes it wouldn't go exactly where I want it to go for the best possible image, so I'll just sort of make it do what I want it to do. Okay, so let me get rid of this other stuff. Delete, and then fill this in. And then I think we'll just do a couple little rogue cracks here and there to play up the spookiness and the explosion type stuff. And just, I don't need a ton of them, just a few here and there. And maybe just a tiny bit of texture. I'll grab one of my texture brushes from my Rich Blacko set. Come down here, we'll go to this big grit one and just kind of pull in a little like that. Let me switch over to that so you can see it better. And then what I'll do is double tap to use this as an eraser and then just knock some out of the 3D area and the line work. Cool. That's that one. Got a lot of variety in these so far. I'm looking forward to seeing them together. All right, what do we got? Let's see. Switch back to my pencil brush. Back to sketchy. Anthony O'Connor with the super chat. Let me write down that name. Anthony. O'Connor. Okay. O'Connor. Okay. Get it? Get what, you say? Okay, let's see. What do we do here? Maybe we'll start with like a shape. I don't know what shape. Like a 2-line thing, or it's like this maybe, and then this is like I don't know. It feels sort of like a structure that could work. So we turn down the opacity, and then what we could do is just simply write the letters in, and this is just helping us to see how much space we need for them. That way you're not like sort of guessing. And looks like I got kind of lucky here and it fit. So now I can use this as like a framework or just a guide so that I have a reference for like how much space will be left over. Okay, so first let's see if there's some fun things that we could do here. So we've got a Y, and you know that I can't help myself with like playing around with like a tail thing. So maybe could just have that like burp, burp, burp. And then maybe this N could kind of fit into that space. And that making the N curve for the Y, I just sort of like curve the N in to fit that shape, but then I'm noticing over here it's perfect for the O. The O can curve right into that space. Okay, so let's see. Get this A over here. We got a T, so because I want, like, I'm when I'm doing something to a shape and I want it to like fit together, I want to avoid like gaps from like letters. Like for example, when you've got a T and then the H, we've got this space here. So when I'm doing something like this, I'll often tuck the top of the T over, and that just makes it fit a little bit better. So I'm gonna draw the T here, and then the H can kind of come in like this, and then this N can kind of go like that. And that's looking kind of fun. Josh is terrific. You said you just pre-ordered the T. Thank you so much. That's awesome. We're getting some orders in. Illustrating. You ordered a shirt too. Thank you so much. I don't know why I just said like I was gonna say something else, but I forgot what I was gonna say. So got this little apostrophe there. This Y, the bottom of the Y can sort of work to fit with that O. Oh, you know what? Since we did that curve with the Y, maybe we do that with the C here. And also doing that would shorten the height of these letters, and that could be beneficial because they're a little tight in there. So since they'll be smaller, you know, they'll take up less room. See, now it's already feeling like it's not as cramped. I'm trying to decide if where we want this. Like that, maybe? Okay. So I think we're getting to a pretty close spot. So I'm just gonna check spelling, and then 2 N's, got O's. Okay, cool. So let's just merge this all down and then make it bigger and refine. So what we'll do now is start with like the areas that are a little rough and not working as well. So like, gotta figure out how this Y really sort of fits in. So I think what I'll do is kind of draw these other things first. So like make this C a little bit cooler, and then maybe that means the Y can just go like that. PHKNG, you said, is Fresco combining the lines to one vector, or is it every time you lift the pen a new vector? It's sort of, so there's a setting in the vector brushes. Where is it? Under experimental, there's like simplify vector layers, and that sort of like combines things, so it makes the file less annoying. And what I mean by that is like when you're gonna make a vector layer, like when you draw something and then you draw over it, generally I'll make this into like one shape when you open it in Illustrator, because I have it set to combine. Otherwise it would sort of leave the pieces individually, I believe. Hope that answers your question. Okay, so I gotta figure out how the N is gonna fit in here. So I'm thinking I can go like that. And like that. Okay. And then I'm gonna try to get a little bit more space for the R here. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And then I can pull this back a little bit more. And then I'll just kind of flow this line from the C over here. Like that. Okay, that is fine. Get the O over here. That. So most of the first name is okay. I'm just sort of tightening it up a little bit. I think the H and the O could be a little bit smaller proportionally, so I'm just gonna pull these over like that, and then we can have room to make the A a little bit bigger because it's like the first letter of the word, and I don't want it to be, or the name. So I feel like it should have a little bit more size to it. Like this. Maybe make that a little bit thicker. Let's see. Okay, I think we're ready to do a tighter version. Maybe I will do this one with vector since a lot of the stuff is like flowing into each other, and I want it to be nice and pointy. So I'll use my VV Sharpie Gritty Vector preset. And what I'll do is just draw some of these like longer flowing lines first, so I can base the other stuff off of that. Then we can use the trimming to get rid of all the stuff we don't need. Maybe we can continue that line fully to get that O, and then we can draw that like that. I don't know, this might look like chaos right now until we sort of like trim off what we don't need. But having that overall, that line over the top will help me to like have it all fit together nicely and look more intentional and just sort of perfect in terms of like fitting together and like following that line and giving that overall structure. I think for the sake of all of you, I'm going to start trimming some of this soon before I do the rest, because I understand that this can look chaotic if you are not used to working with the trimming. Okay, so what I'll do is double tap the modifier to get the blue circle on the outside, and then I'll just get rid of all this extra, oops. I think I might have to manually erase that one because you can't use the vector trimming on like a continuous line. It has to be like crossing paths, but that's fine. We can manually do that one. But we can get rid of all this like extra overlap here that we don't need. Yeah, see, that O is one continuous line, so we can't trim that piece off, but again, no big deal. Actually, that won't matter because I'm thinking I might do like an overall outline around the whole thing, and that would fit into the outline. But as you can see, we get really sharp points doing it this way. And then for this spot here, I'll just do the blue circle in the middle, and then I can just erase with this brush to keep that same texture, which is not that much harder. And then like here we can do that. But again, I think I'm going to do an outline on the whole thing, so it's not, that's not going to be that important. Did I catch up on questions? Can't believe it. So I always try to think like, oh, maybe I should do something different for the live streams, because I don't always do the lettering ones, but they seem to be kind of popular and they're a fun thing for me to do. Do you like these kind of streams more than the other kind, or you know, what kind of live streams are your favorite to see? So I'm drawing this whole big line here, and that way we can use the tops for all those letters, and that'll make it a little bit more consistent. I still don't really know exactly what I want this A to look like here and like how thick this one is, but I think relatively even. Yeah, I think that's okay. Adeline, you said you like the name drawing more. Yeah, I think it's fun because it's like, you know, it's interactive because I'm like literally drawing your names. But I don't know. I think sometimes I have this like inner debate with like the lettering versus like regular illustration. I think it's for a long time, like early in my career, I felt like I was seen more as just like a lettering person. Like most of, I don't want to say most, but a good portion of my work was lettering based. And then when it wasn't lettering based, it was like illustration with lettering involved too. And I was like, felt like imposter syndrome in terms of like wanting to, like I was an illustrator, but like I was doing lots of lettering illustration. I don't know, it sounds funny now, but that was my mindset. So I have this like weird relationship with it. But I still, you know, love to do lettering. Obviously. I just like to draw stuff too. But for live streams, for me, like this kind of thing is so much easier to improvise with because I'm much more confident in just like drawing some letter forms because I've done it for so long and it just comes sort of naturally to me. Daryl, you said any kind of chill, relaxing vibes work. I appreciate that. Hopefully this is a chill, relaxing vibe. Diana Lisa, you said anything that shows the process is great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That is nice to hear. I like that there's flexibility in that and some variety. Julie, you said you like hearing me talk through my process. Just the way you work through problem areas is helpful. Cool. That's nice to hear. Sometimes I feel like it may be a little nonsensical sometimes, so I'm glad that it comes through. I hate when I just barely cross through and I just have like the tiniest little bit that I have to trim. Okay, so I'm leaving some of these because I'm gonna do an overall outline around the whole thing, so I'm realizing that some of it is not gonna be that important. So All right, let's turn off the sketch thing so I can see what's going on here. All right, let me do this outline thing. So I'm just going to sort of follow the edges, but simplify it a little bit. This, and then just try to have it somewhat concise. Actually, that's too far. Like that, and over here. So my plan is to merge this down and then fill in the outside area, and then we can do the counter stuff. Merge down, fill. Whoops, forgot to, I knew we'd find something that we missed. Okay, now let's see. Boop, boop, boop. All right, let's see. Get those in. I think that is pretty fun. I think I just want to fix that a tiny bit. Yeah, hopefully you like it, Anthony. Let's make that a little smaller. Okay. Man, we got another super chat from Apostasy. Am I saying that wrong? Your name makes me feel like I have a speech impediment. Okay. A-P-O. Post assy X F Nord. That is a crazy name. What are we gonna do with that? I gotta like, I think I just gotta start freestyling with this like X for some reason. Like this XF thing. I don't know. It's a tricky combo with the F and the X. Maybe it's like just a big X and then maybe they're like just sort of like overlapping, pushing together letters or something. I don't know. And then just this giant bold X. I wonder if we could put the F-N-O-R-D like on top of a X or something. Like, let's just make this a solid shape here. say solid shape, I just mean the letters. Okay, so instead of redrawing, we'll just copy this. Not cut, copy, and paste. Oh, maybe if it's like sort of off like this. Obviously it's hard to read now, but I could do it intentionally. But we got to figure out, if we did this, what happens with apostasy. Anthony, you said you liked the name because of your process and thinking and talking aloud. Well, I'm glad to hear that my rambling improved the drawing. Maybe it's like off to the side. These usernames, you guys are testing me. Alumnus Snatch. You said you like the challenges, but feel you get too stressed, so I enjoy it less. Oh, like my time challenges? Yeah, I don't know if I get, I guess maybe I do. I'm trying to think how much of it is like exaggeration, but it is the time and the clicking. Post. I don't know. I kind of like the X as like a thing. I feel like it's very different. Let's see if I can refine this a little bit and make it something cooler. Maybe rotate it a little bit like this. Actually, I feel like if the X 3D-ness was going the other way, it would like balance more. So like over here. But then like what happens with the Nord lettering? That's the real question. That is the question that we are all asking ourselves. Just that fill margin. Okay. Let's bring down the opacity here. And what if this is like got a bit of an outline, so it's like filled partially. The incoherence is maxing out right now, and I apologize for that, but I am working through this dilemma. And when I say dilemma, it's not really a dilemma. All right, let's see something. So if we just fill this in white. I could have just used the paint bucket, but because I'm using a pencil, I felt like it was going to be weird. Not fill properly. I can turn that back up. So it looks a bit messy now, but I think we can make this work. Brad Nolan, you said you liked the one where people call that characters. Oh yeah, that was fun. The illustration automatic drawing challenge where you just like keep drawing, and I was getting suggestions. That was a fun one. I should do another one of those. Maybe we could do like a Halloween themed automatic drawing challenge. All right, I think we can make this into a tighter version and it'll be okay. Okay, so to start, I am going to use the classic anchor for this one. I feel like my X is a little wonky, so I'm gonna actually use like some diagonal lines to make it. And then erase what we don't need. So I wanted to have a little bit of extra energy going on. And then we can erase this center stuff. Deedle 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 doo. Doodle doodle deedle dee. I think I actually want to exaggerate that middle part a little bit, but not on this side. This X is trash. We're gonna do it a different way. We're gonna do it like a block letter-ish technique. So what I'm gonna do is make the overall like square shape or rectangle like this, and then carve out pieces. I need to make this less distracting so I can see what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do is just sort of like cover out little triangles. And this will be a more satisfying. No, that sucks too. You know why? Because we should have done these ones first, because these are more important in terms of the overall structure, because they're the tops dictate their position. So if we match that angle like this, it won't look nonsensical. Okay, so now we can pull that over and that over and boop that there, boop that there. And now we can erase the stuff that we don't want. Illumina Snatch. Hey, I think I said it right that time. Have you ever done an ambigram? That's like when you flip it and it reads the same way. I was gonna say no immediately, but like I do a lot of lettering, and I did daily drawings that I posted online for over 14 years. And I feel like there's no way I didn't do one at some point. But I don't remember one off the top of my head. And I can't say for sure that I did one. It just feels like it would be weird if I never did one. But it is kind of a confusing thing, so I don't know. So I'm doing this this lettering on its own layer, because it'll be easier to erase what I don't need or what I don't want to appear on the X when it's on its own layer. I'm at the point in the stream where my voice is saying, you've talked quite enough. And that's how I know that it's getting to be towards the end. Okay. So let me turn off this now. What I'm going to do is make a selection of the inside of those letters and then just come down to the X below and erase that. And then we can turn this up and then merge that down and make it so it's easier to read by filling in some of this stuff. And we can fix that up a little bit in a bit when we're ready. So I'm thinking this lettering, I can't decide if I want that to be knocked out of black up there. I think I'm gonna do a test. Or I don't know if it's a test, but it's something. I'm just gonna draw this shape and then fill it in and see if that's what I want to do. I think that makes it too top heavy. So we're gonna leave it like that, and we're gonna do it like just black lettering within that shape. So I'm just trying to make it look sort of like rough and kind of scrawled. Is that the word, scrawled? Scrawled? Scrat? What am I saying? So that A is too cramped there, so we're gonna come back to that spot. We'll fix it in a minute. We'll just come over here and make some more room with these other letters, and hopefully it'll help us to solve that problem. Because we want it to look like quickly written, but like cool at the same time. Boop, forgot that. Gotta merge stuff to fill the paint bucket. Merge down, turn that off. What? Okay. I'm getting bonkers at this point. Okay. So I think we're gonna have to use some texture to make this have this like kind of stencil-y look. I think that's gonna help the cause. All right, so this part gets filled in, that gets filled in, and do a little bit there, a little bit extra there. I think this, the top of the X over here could come up a little bit to help with the X factor. What am I talking about? And then we can just get rid of this little nub because it's weird. Okay. make this selection, select, invert, come down here and just fill this in white so we can see what's going on. And now we can just do a little bit of extra texture on this. So I'll go into my texture brushes. Let's grab that's too light for this. Let's do Big Grit Alt. Like that. And then let's erase some. I just want to try one quick thing here. I think that this is a little, that little notch was a little distracting. And then I think we can just exaggerate that part a little bit. I feel like this is one that could stand to have a little bit of a, like I try to do these black and white, but every now and then I feel like one of them needs something. It's like that X having color. I don't know. I think that's it. Merge down, put that in a group. Apostasy, you like it. Thank you so much. Mikhail, can you tell me how to pronounce that? Since you've asked a bunch of questions and I get to say it weird every time. You said, what's the best way to come up with ideas when you've hit a wall? Sometimes it just requires me taking a break. Other times I just have to like try something else. I feel like if I'm struggling with something for a while and then I just bail and go do something else that's like not related, that's when like my brain will just give me a new idea or a way to think about it. Like I find that if I just sort of cram, I just like try really hard to figure something out and like think about it a whole bunch and like sketch and sketch and sketch and then give up for a while. As soon as my brain stops stressing about it or thinking about it, it'll be like, oh, sorry, I was working on this idea. Here's a new one for you. So I don't know. Hopefully that is something that's useful. Britt Meister, you said your inner dialogue out loud is the absolute charm and all your. Thank you. Sometimes I feel like it is just chaos, but I'm glad that you like it. Disglin, you said, how much smoothing do you use in Fresco? So when I'm sketching, I don't use any because I need to like figure out what I need to just be able to work quickly and like intuitively. And, but when I'm doing line work that is smooth curves like this, I use it like maxed out. But if I'm doing something like this, I have it turned all the way off because I can't move the pencil fast enough to do that. So that's what it is. Did I just do 5 today? Was I slower than normal? Let's just quickly fill in, actually, since we got this yellow here, let's give some yellow to some of these. Whoa, whoops. This was fun. I think I am maxed out for right now. I just, I want to color these in real quick. Not like that. I just want to see what they look like with these filled in. that's what we did today, together as a team. Adeline, thank you for confirming that scroll is a word. Skippy, you said you gotta have scroll. Writing on the walls in blood is boring. Scrawling things is exciting. Yes. Why do I hear myself in like the speakers too? Or is it this? What am I doing? Losing it. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I'm sorry we only got to 5, but it's been almost 2 hours and I gotta do some other work. I'm not a full-time YouTuber yet. It's not paying all the bills yet. Some of you super supporters are changing that, but you know, I gotta pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go do some actual work. This is fun. I will see you on Tuesday for another live stream. Hopefully you can come hang out. If not, the recording will be up soon. Hopefully you join in with the Stinktober. Even if it's just 1 or 2, you don't have to feel obligated to do all of them. Make sure you share them with me. I love seeing them. I think there'll be a channel in the Discord specifically for them. If I haven't set that up yet, I think I will. I think I did, but if I didn't, I will. And Instagram. And maybe I'll do some bonus live streams for some of these Stinktober days. If you want to see me work through one of the drawings, let me know if that would be something. Don't forget to pre-order the shirt if you are interested. Use the promo code LIVE. Check out the vector texture pack. I will see you all soon. Thank you so much. Smash the thumbs on the way out. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Do the YouTubes. Where's the thing? Where's my stats? I'm flipping through all of them. Hey, do you like this thing that I made? I made this background to show the vector texture thing. To promote it. Pretty cool, right? Uh-oh, did I lock it up? Oh, we got over 77,000 subscribers. That's cool. The channel is barely 2 years old. Nuts. Thank you all for all your support. You're the best. I will talk to you soon. Bye. I gotta find the end stream thing.